Okay, I've just sprayed myself with tons of water. I feel like I've been in a shower. Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Sophie, aka Kim. Today's video is just a bit of fun and something that I've always wanted to do, and today precisely marks 1 year since last year's Met Gala, where Kim Kardashian came out with her iconic look, the wet look, which is in the makeup world very, very iconic and massively recreated, so it's not like you need to see another recreation of it. However, I'm obviously bored in the house and I'm in my house bored, and it's been a year since that day, and the real Met Gala this year is being postponed, so I thought why not bring you a look that I have been massively inspired by within my own work, and something that I've just always wanted to recreate. So the look was inspired by California, and she was supposed to be looking like she'd literally just come out of the sea, dripping wet with water or whatever, and I loved the whole look. I thought it was amazing, and the makeup especially I thought was so nice. So this is my recreation of that makeup, obviously done by the amazing Makeup by Mario. I can never say his second name. Let's give it a bash. Dedivanovic? I don't know. I feel like I'm insulting him if I'm going to try and say his second name, so I'm just going to say Makeup by Mario because that's who he's best known for. I absolutely love his work. All the looks that him and Kim have done together have been absolutely amazing, and I'm so inspired by him. Love you, Mario. I feel like one of my huge goals in life is to go do a masterclass with Mario. I think he's incredible. This makeup look is super glowy but also matte at the same time, representing Makeup by Mario's true style with Kim. They always do matte looks together, but obviously as she was supposed to look super wet from the sea, her skin looked really dewy at the same time. I hope you all really enjoyed today's tutorial, guys. As I said, just a little bit of fun and hopefully some entertainment for you all while you're at home. If you do like this video today, please don't forget to give me a big thumbs up, and also subscribe to my channel because I've got lots of new videos coming your way. All of the products that I'm using today I will link below, because although this is maybe a look that you might not necessarily wear, I'm using a lot of amazing products that I actually do use all the time in my kit. So if you want to know how I recreated this look by Kim K and Mario, please keep watching. I already did my brows off camera today. Kim's got really strong brows and they're actually quite rounded at the top here, so I tried to round them off as much as I could to make them look like her. Obviously Kim is super tan, super glowy and bronzed in this look. I'm just going to use a little bit of this Sun Shimmer Instant Tan. I'm just going to pop a little bit of that onto like a makeup palette. You could put it onto a mitt, and I'm going to just be mixing that with a tiny bit of moisturiser. Just any body moisturiser will do. Now obviously because her look is called the wet look, we want the skin to look as glowy as possible, so I'm going to be adding some of this iconic London body illuminator. This is like so shiny, so I'm just going to pop a little pump of that into the mixture. That's it there. It's so shiny, so it looks amazing and so glowy on the skin. So all I'm going to do is take like a cookie brush, mix all those products in, and you can see this is what we're left with. It's like such a nice shiny tan, and I'm just going to be popping that on my chest really, just to get like a bit more tan. I've already popped a little bit of Shape Tape concealer on my eyelids, and we are going to jump straight into the eyeshadow. Now in the photo, Kim has like a beautiful spotlight or halo eye, whatever you want to call it. You can see just like how glowy she is in this photograph. The eyes are quite warm and there is some like sort of chocolate brown shades. I really think this palette will be lovely for it. This is the Nubian by Juvia's Place. It's a really nice sort of neutrals palette. This is the first shade that I'm going to be going in with, and it is very well used. It reminds me a lot of Swiss Chocolate from MAC. I'm just going to start by using that shade on a Zoeva 227. I'm going to use more of a pat motion to put the eyeshadow on today, so I really like this brush because it's a little bit more flat. So I'm just going to be popping this eyeshadow more on like the outer part of the eye and the inner part of the eye. And as you can see, I'm just tapping it on. So this might look a little messy at first, but persevere. When I've got the shape, I'm going to start to blend it out so it doesn't look as messy. So you can see I just left that little part in the middle, but even if you do go into the middle, don't worry because we're going to block it out with some concealer anyway. What I'm going to do is just take a clean MAC 221 brush, and I'm just going to lightly fluff over the edges of the eyeshadow. Now I just mean like where the eyeshadow actually stops. And I use this technique all the time. I just feel like it's such an easy way to get eyeshadow on because it's so quick. Next up, I'm just going to take a clean MAC 224 and I'm going to be dipping into this sort of orange shade here. So just a really light hand and just feathering that shadow over the edges. I'm actually just going to be pulling that out as well. I'm now just taking that orange shadow and blending out the brown colour in here, but I'm also just going to be like pushing that up into the brow. I wonder how long Mario actually spent on her makeup that day. Like, it must have actually taken about 10 hours. I would genuinely love to be a fly on the wall just to see what he uses, how he works, what their chat's like. I wonder what they talk about. Also just going to bring that orange shade just from like sort of inner corner here down here. Just really like to connect that onto the nose contour. Okay, I just want to darken the sort of very inner and the very outer corner slightly, so I'm just going to take a little bit of this shade here, which is kind of like a graphite colour, like a mix between a black and a grey, and I'm just going to be using that same MAC 221 brush, and I'm literally just going to pop a tiny bit in here. And just the same like on the outer corner. I'm also just going to take that same shade that we've just used, and I'm going to be popping that on my Precise Crease brush from my Kit Co. If you've watched any of my other videos, I think I've used this in every single video, but it's just such a nice little size to get in about the eye. And I'm just going to be running that along the lash line, and I am going to do a liner on top, but I just feel like her eyeliner looks quite smoky. I am just going to add a little bit of black just right on top of that, the root of the lash, and this one is Urban Decay Blackout. Anyone has any suggestions of other black eyeshadows that they like, please let me know, because I am on my last legs of this one. I've used it for so many years now and I can't get away from it. Whether to do my eyeliner first or my pigment first, I think we will do the pigment. Yeah, let's do the pigment. I'm going to start by popping a little bit of Shape Tape Concealer just to blank out exactly where I want the pigment to go. Now the trick is use a nice flat synthetic brush. I love this one for any glitter, pigment and anything on the lid really, and it's a MAC 239. And I'm going to take a tiny bit of concealer. I'm just going to be patting out a little blank space, kind of just where we've left that space, but I want to just make it a little bit more prominent on the lid. Okay, so the pigment I'm going to be using is Prin by Peaches and Cream. You can see it's like a really fine glitter, and I'm just going to be taking that same MAC 239 brush, and I'm just going to be like pressing it pretty firmly into the concealer that we've just put down, and I'm just literally going to take it right up to the brow. Okay, so this line here on each side is not exactly what you want. You want it to look a lot more diffused. So then I'm just taking the excess pigment off there that I've got on, and I'm just going to sweep that over the edges of where we just applied it, and you can see it's already just starting to blend it out. Now I just want it to look a little bit more sparkly, so I'm going to add a couple more glitters just so it looks really twinkly and really grabs the light. So this is one of my all-time favourite glitters just for patting on top of anything, and it's Space Cowboy by Urban Decay, and I literally just like to use my finger for this. But this one is honestly so good to have in your makeup bag because you can pat over literally any eyeshadow colour. I'd love to have a look at Mario's kit. I found this YouTube video and it's like he goes through all of his makeup, and oh my god. He gets sent so much stuff. I think I would be happy to get sent like one product, but he gets sent like millions of products every single month. Like, he has an assistant to sort it all out for him. That is honestly living the dream. So you can see that's made it look a little bit more sparkly. But I'm just going to add one more. So this one here is the Be Perfect Cosmetics Liquid Glitter Eyeshadows, and they're so sparkly and so easy to use. I think the best way to apply this on top of other eyeshadows specifically is like just to tap it on. She's definitely wearing a brown in her waterline, which looks amazing on her, but it's definitely more of like a cool brown. So this is actually, I think it's a cream eyeshadow. It's called Colour Chameleon by Charlotte Tilbury. I actually wear this in my waterline quite a lot, and it's called Golden Quartz. I feel like that looks really similar to what she's wearing in the photograph. Also just going to run that just directly underneath the eye. I'm going to just use my trusty My Kit Co brush. I'm going to just add a little bit more warmth. I'm going to go in with a bit of the orange and a little bit of the chocolate brown shade. I'm just going to go over the top. Clean brush is always your bestie. If you ever make a mistake or you put too much shadow on, if you just take a clean brush and gently buff away, the eyeshadow should just blend out quite nicely. Now I'm going to do eyeliner. I think she's definitely wearing a wing. If you'd like a more in-depth tutorial on winged liner, I do have another one on my channel, so I will pop that down below in the description box for you. What I am going to be using is Inglot Gel Liner. This is my favourite eyeliner. So the lashes I've opted for are these from Eldora. These are the M111. I think they look really similar to the one that she has on. So as expected, her base is completely flawless. It's very contoured, very bronzy. I want to be like quite smooth down the centre of my face and then quite glowy on the outer part. I'm just using this Wonder Glow primer from Charlotte Tilbury, and this is going to give a beautiful glow just on the outer parts of her face. I'm just going to rub that in my fingertips, and I'm just going to literally just pat that on, just like on the high points of the cheeks and just kind of like around the side of the forehead. For just down the centre of my face to smooth out anything like pores, fine lines, etc. I'm going to just be using this Benefit Porefessional Pearl Primer, and this is honestly like magic in a bottle. It just literally smooths out everything. They also have like just the generic matte version, but this one is the pearly one, which I actually really like. It still gives you a little bit of radiance, but like not too much radiance that it's going to highlight everything. Okay, and first of all, I'm going to be sorting out my bags under my eyes. So I'm going to be going in firstly with this concealer from NARS. This is a soft matte concealer, and I'm just going to be pressing that right underneath. This is in the shade Honey, so it literally does have like that rosy tinty peachy shade, which is really going to help to colour correct any dark circles. I'm going to add this anywhere where I want a little bit more coverage. In my last video I actually did this and I feel like it made such a difference, so I have been doing it a lot more recently. So I'm going to start by doing the bronze contour shade before I do anything else. The contour, I'm going to be using the Born This Way Multi Sculpting Concealer, and this is in the shade Maple. So I'm just putting some out onto my little tray. We'll come back to this brush because I do really love this brush from Beauty Bay. I cannot say it, Beauty Bay, and it's the Contour Queen brush. So I'm just going to tap a little bit of the concealer onto the brush, just going to be bronzing in all the usual areas. Now this is quite orange, as you can see, but I feel like Kim's really bronzy, so we're going to go for it, guys. Just going to do it under the jaw and then tuck it in here because that makes a huge difference. Like you can actually see, obviously I'm going to blend this, right, but you can see it makes my jaw look way more angular. I'm going to take a little bit down the side of my nose as well, and also just on the chin. Okay, and now that it's kind of placed down, I'm going to start to blend it in a bit more because it looks kind of crazy right now. Don't worry about it being perfectly blended at this point because we are going to put foundation on top. And so I'm going to be using the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Foundation, and I am actually going to have to mix two colours together. So I'm mixing a 7 Neutral, which is what I would normally wear, but I'm actually putting a little bit of shade 10 in as well, which is a really almost like a yellowy tone, so it's going to be a little more tanned. And then I'm going to be taking my Spectrum B01 brush and I'm just going to start to dab that in, just kind of around the contour. And it just really starts to blend it in really nicely. Yeah, she's very, very highlighted. So the reason that I went so dark with foundation is because I knew that we were going to use quite a bright highlighter. So this is the NARS concealer. This is like an OG concealer. I've been using this for years. And this is in the shade Vanilla, so it is quite light. But because we've already like corrected the under eyes, now we can just brighten. And then she definitely uses quite a lot on her forehead as well. Now I'm just going to take a damp beauty blender and blend it all together. I'm just taking my foundation brush, which has actually got a little bit of foundation left on it, and I'm just going over any areas that I feel like I want to blend the two shades together. I'm using this little NARS palette here, and this shade here is nice and ashy, so I'm going to use that just right in the cheekbone here, and that's going to make the face look a lot more sculpted. Because she's obviously supposed to look like she's just come out of the sea, she's supposed to look sort of really glowy and really shiny. So obviously we used this iconic illuminator earlier on our chest to give us a bit of a glow, but I actually really like to use this on the face as well. I'm just going to apply a little bit of that onto the bottom of my beauty blender, which is a little bit damp, and I'm just going to tap it on the cheekbones, and this just is going to give us such an amazing sort of dewiness to the skin. So for blush, I'm going to be using this one from KKW, and Mario is the colour Very Graceful because her cheeks do look quite peachy, and I really, really like this shade of blusher. To set under my eyes today, I'm going to be using the Airbrush Flawless Powder by Charlotte Tilbury, and this is in the shade 2. here as well, because I feel like it just really helps to smooth out any pores, fine lines, just gives such a smooth finish. And then I'm also going to take the same powder in the shade 1, just because that really helps to brighten. I am just going to bake very, very slightly, because I feel like she would always bake even if she was doing like a really shiny skin look. So I'm just going to bake literally like here, and also just like under the contour. For mascara, I'm just going to use my all-time favourite Maybelline Lash Sensation. This is honestly one of the best mascaras I've ever used. It doesn't like transfer at all. Like some mascaras really transfer down here on me, but this one just does not at all. For lips, I feel like I really struggle to choose a brown lip liner, because the one that she's wearing is a real chestnutty shade of brown, so I've swatched lipstick about 100. I feel like this one looked like the best one, but because Kim has like such big lips, I am going to use 2 lip liners to try and make mine look a little bit bigger. Both of these lip liners are by Morphe. One's called Bite Me, which I feel like is the more chestnutty shade, so it's a little darker. And this one is called Love Bite, which I'm going to actually use first just to get the shape, and then I'm going to go in with the slightly darker lip liner. Now I'm just going to go around the edges and make them a little darker with the chestnutty one, which is called Bite Me. I feel like she's wearing a lip gloss, and it looks like almost like a peachy nude, and I was struggling to find one, and then remembered I actually have the KKW Mario one, which will be perfect. So this is called Proud of You, and it is like a really beautiful peachy lip gloss. So this is the finished look today, guys. I hope you've all enjoyed this video. Obviously, as I said before, just a little bit of fun and entertainment to honour last year's Met Gala that isn't going ahead this year. My next video that I'm going to be bringing out is skincare, which has been really highly requested, so please keep a lookout for that. Thanks so much again for watching, guys. I hope you're all staying safe and well at home, and I'll see you in the next video.